Welcome to Advanced Excel function for data analysis. Tonight we will be looking at 20 advanced functions. 20 advanced Excel functions for data analysis. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see my screen. We are live once again. My name is Franklin, lead consultant and a data analyst with at least minimum of 7 years experience as a data analyst. I will be handling this session this night. Tonight we will be looking at Excel functions, advanced Excel functions that can fast track our work as data analysts. The last section we handled basic functions in Microsoft Excel that relates to data analysis. Tonight we will be looking at advanced functions for data analysis. And before us tonight is a sales data that we will be using to handle several advanced functions. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see my screen. Kindly let me know if I'm audible enough. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. If you are just joining us, you are welcome. You are welcome for tonight's section. In this section this night, we will be going through advanced Excel functions. Every data analyst should know. Advanced Excel functions, every data analyst should know. Welcome, welcome. Let me know your name and where you are joining us from for tonight's section. Let me know your name and where you are joining us from for tonight's section. And if you are in any of our platform part of our data analysis scholarship program, go to that group and let everyone there know that we are live. Especially the data analysis scholarship program. Other persons joining us from different platforms, you are welcome. Kindly let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. Very, very important. I need to know if I'm audible enough, if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. Welcome to Advanced Excel function. Tonight we will be looking at least 20 top functions, advanced functions in Microsoft Excel that every analyst should know. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see my screen. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see my screen. I need to hear that from us. 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 Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. I need to see that. Drop it in the chat box. Drop it in the chat box. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen as well. Very, very important. All right. Thank you so much, Oluwatobi. I can hear you, sir. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Tonight we will be moving with speed of light. Please, if you are joining us, let me know where you are joining us from. Let me know where you are joining us from, your name and where you are joining us from. Thank you, much appreciated. And if you just join us, I will encourage you to like this section, in this live session, just click the like button, just click on the like button, like the section, and let me give a minute for us to share this section to your friends, to the platforms you belong. 30 seconds, 1 minute, share this live session. I strongly believe that it will be a very, very interesting section this night. I'm going to be going through diverse functions tonight. Tonight we will be dealing with at least 20 advanced Excel functions. That's what we will be dealing with tonight, at least 20 Excel functions. All right, now without wasting much time, this is already past 8. This already past 8. We will be looking at the first function we will be looking at tonight. We will be using this place to look at the functions we will be handling tonight. The first function we will be dealing with, analyzing, using it to get insights to this data set. This is a sales data set where we have the order ID, the product name, region, the category, quantity, unit price, order date, status, whether it's been delivered or pending or stuff like that, and then the customer name, total price, which we will be calculating tonight. Now, we will be using this data set to get some insight using the functions to analyze this before us. So let's get the total price here. I will say equals, let's use the function let's use the function product function. This product function, double click, and then unit price and the quantity. That gives us the total price. The unit price times the quantity sold. Then we hit enter. That is what we have. Then we drop down, and this just ignore. All right, now having gotten this from this becomes our total price. This becomes our total price, unit price, total price, or total sales, or total amount sold, whatever is called in your organization. Now, the first function tonight, which the product function, is also a basic function that you can use to multiply. And apart from the product function, you can also do this equals to this, and then press Shift 8 asterisk, and then click on this. You are going to get the same value. So it's either you use the product function or you use the normal asterisk function. That way is that. But on this session this night, we used the product function. Okay. Now the first function, the first advanced function we are going to be looking at this night is the what we call the ifs. Ifs. In the previous section, we talked about the if function. We handled basic functions in our previous section. If you have not gone through that section, check it on the channel. You will see that Excel functions. Now we are going to be looking at ifs. What ifs does is that it handles multiple stores. So instead of looking at one, it handles multiple criteria. Now here we are going to be using if functions to classify orders. Now here I'm going to put here order classification. Let me put it here, order classification. Now here let's come here and then let's make it wrap test, which okay. Now, I don't want it to okay, let's okay. All right, now under other classification, we are going to use the if function, ifs, ifs, some call it ifs, some call it ifs, depending on what you choose to call it. Now we are going to be using the ifs to classify our orders. Now under this order classification, we are going to be looking at this aspect here. Now we are going to be looking at this. We are going to say if this quantity here is less than so this, let it be this. If it's greater, if it's equals to this, let it be that. So we are going to be using the ifs to do that. So in order to get that, we are going to say equals to ifs, double click. We are going to say if this, which is the other quantity, if is, let's say if it's less than, let's say if it's less than 2, let me check, yeah, if it's less than 2. If it's less than or equals to 2, comma, what do we want it to be? We say, we give it, let's give it small. Now, I need to explain something about the ifs. If statement, a logical statement, is only valid for something that is true. Let me put it that way. It's only valid. It's only valid when it's true. If it's false, it doesn't return, it gives it error. If the logic statement, if the argument is false, it gives it error. So when you are using ifs, it's not like if you can check true or false. When you are using the if statement, if it's true, it will return a certain value. If it's not true, it will return another value you assign to it. But the ifs only returns a value when the argument is true. Hence, we refer to it as you making use of the AND statement. The AND statement. Remember, the last session we talked about some logical functions where we have the AND statement, we have the OR statement. The AND statement, both statement must be true for it to return true, while the OR statement, only one statement needs to be true for it to return true, or one argument. So when we're talking about the ifs here, it only returns stuff that is true. If it's not true, it gives error. So we said we are using this to classify our orders. This is the order ID, this is the quantity, this is the quantity, this is the unit price, this is the total price. Now we are looking at quantity. If it's less than or equals to 2, let it be small. If not, then we put comma here and then click this as well. If this is how will I put it now? If this is okay, let's say if it's less than or equals to let's say if it's less than or equals to 6, comma, put under quotation. Now, another thing I need to say is this. When you are working, whenever you want to type anything that is text, character, or whatever, in a Z function, you need to put it under quotation. Double quotation. Very, very important. If it's number, there is no need. So here we can say medium. We can say medium. Then put comma. Now what is the third logical test? If we say this as well, if we select this, is if is greater than 6, we put it this way. If is greater than 6, what do we want to return? We want to return large. Now this is one of the what our if is. Another area you can use the if statement is if you are a lecturer, if you are a teacher in school, you use ifs to grade results. You use the if statement to grade results. So here in this sales data, we use these ifs to classify our orders. We are saying if this is less than or equals to 2, return small. If it's less than or equals to 6, return medium. But if it's greater than 6, return large. That is what the if does. We use it to classify stuffs or to grade, to assign grade. Maybe you are a teacher, you are a lecturer. If the score is 70 above, if it's greater than or equals to 70, return A. If it's greater than or equals to 60, return B. If it's greater than or equals to this, return. So that's how you will be declaring it. If this is greater than that, also works for grading of result, or as a HR, you can also use the is to grade your staff's performance based on some certain key metrics. So you can note this a top performing staff, this an average performing staff, this a poor performing staff, and stuff like that. And you also use ifs in your grading, in classifications. So that being said, we hit enter. Now you see here that what we have here is medium. Why? Because we said that if it's less than or equals to 6, so it falls under medium. Now, having said that, we can double click that, and the rest takes place. This is 1 is small, this is 4 medium, this one is large, we see medium, we see these ones large, we see small, and so on and so forth. So that we have other classification. So with this, we have been able to classify our orders. That is in the first steps. Now that settles the if function. The next we are going to be looking at is what is called some ifs. The last section we handled some if. In this section tonight, we are going to taking it up further in a more advanced aspect, some ifs. Remember, in the some if, you are making some if uses just one criteria. Some ifs uses just one criteria. What does that mean? How do I mean? Now let's take, for example, the manager wants to know the total sales or the total price from the northern region, or from the eastern region. Let's say our manager says he wants to get the total price of the eastern region, of the northern region, of the western region, as the case may be. That you use some if. Some if. We have done that in our last section. We had early this week on Monday, I presume, that you use some if. But in this case, if our manager comes and said, we want to know, let's say we want to know the total price of laptop in the eastern region. For example, the manager said, we want to know the total price of laptop, and this laptop, we want to find it only for eastern region or for western region. Now there are two criteria now. We now have two criteria. So what do? You make use of some ifs. Sumifs. So to do that, let's come over to this place and let's call it Sumifs. That's on this aspect. Now, having done that, we want to get the total sales, the total price of laptop in the Western region, for example. The total price of laptop in the Western region. Now we are dealing with two criteria. So let's say you are working and you are a sales manager, you are an analyst, and the data comes to you and they say, please run analysis on this. We want to know the total price of this item only from the Western region. And you have volume of data in thousands, hundreds of thousands, running in hundreds of thousands. How do you deal with that? You are not going to be looking at it one after the other and be searching it. No, you are going to waste a lot of time. And I guarantee you, you are going to also be prone to serious errors. So what do? You make use of some ifs. So for now, we put here some if. We select this some ifs. Now what the first thing you look at here is asking some range. What range is this range? Our total price. We click on it and you use a shortcut. There is a simple trick in selecting all the range. That is, hold Control, hold Shift, and press the down arrow. That way you get this. Now when you get to this place and you want to return back to where you are, you press Control backspace. Automatically takes you back upward. You don't need to drag this place. You don't need to drag this place to move it up and down. So once that is done, you have selected the sum range, you put comma. Now what criteria? The first criteria, that's what is asking us about. Criteria range 1. Now the first criteria is we are looking at the northern, the region. Now this is the region. Hold Control, hold Shift, press the down arrow to highlight all the range. Then Control backspace to take us back to where we are. Now here I'm going to put comma. Now it's asking us what criteria. Here we are looking for the Western region. Here we are looking for the Western region. I will type West and close it. Then put comma. That criteria is met. Then the second criteria, range. The second criteria, that's where you are looking at here, criteria range 2, is the product. We click here, hold Control, hold Shift, select the entire range, and then Control backspace to go to where we are. Then we press comma. You put under double quotation, what are we looking for here? Laptop. You type it, laptop. Ensure you don't make mistake in the spelling. Laptop. Now I'm going to show us some certain aspect to which how we can automate this and make it look dynamic. All right. Now once that is done, we hit enter. Now automatically what we see is the price of laptop only for the West. That's what we have. That of laptop only in the West. So we have the total price here, and then based on laptop is anywhere you see laptop here and see West. If you see West and didn't see laptop, nothing will happen. So like here, you see laptop and then there is West here, it will calculate it. It will calculate it. Now, for us to know whether, okay, we are still getting to that aspect. That's some ifs. You can try out for using other conditions. You can take based on category. You want to know based on the laptops and then the category. Maybe accessories, electronics, what have you. You can also maybe check based on the total price from the Western region on the product that is delivered, to know the ones that is delivered, how much it is from the Western region, from the Northern region. You can do that. you can do that. That is your choice based on the criteria, based on the demand. If the manager said we want to know the total price based on the product that has been delivered and in the eastern region, you just come here. This is your status becomes one of the criteria, and then region becomes that, then the total price. That is the second function on that we call it Sumifs. Then this also works for average if, count if. So we can use this. Let me extend it here, and then okay, let me copy this, Control C, and let me paste it here, Control V. Okay, now once that is done, what you will notice is that there is a movement. Now what you notice here is movement. That is a relative referencing. I talked about this last section when we were talking about payroll. I showed us relative referencing, the need for us to absolute reference the stuff we are working on. So what do we need to do in order to ensure that what we have here is the same here? I'm going to hit enter here, press Ctrl C. Okay. Now what I just need to do is to come to this one, I press F4 to assign $sign, this one F4 to assign $sign. Then, all right, as we can see, the $sign have been assigned. I don't want this to move. I don't want this to move. I don't want this to move. So that is what we need. This one $sign, this $sign, and this $sign as well. Hit enter. So if I copy this formula, Ctrl C, and paste it here, I'm going to get the same result. Beautiful. I'm going to get the same result. However, what I just need here is I want it to be average ifs, not some ifs. I want it average ifs. So we select this, the same stuff. But the thing we did was to change the function, from some if to average ifs. Let's say our manager wants to get the average total sales of laptop in the Western region, the average total price of laptop in the Western region. That way we can calculate it using the average if function, and that is what we have, the average if. All right, you can go ahead to test it, to test that as well in using the other criteria. All right, now the next we are going to look at is this, and I need to state this. If you are using okay, I think it will also work for Office 2019. I think there is ifs in that. I'm not sure, but definitely from Office 2021, these functions we are dealing with this night are very useful. They will work. The next one is what we refer to as nested if. Nested if is more like nested function, but here we are having multiple ifs. Nested if is more like nested function. So here we are working, let's have here nested if. Now nested if, let's say we want to look at assign maybe, let's say, delivery status. Let me look at that delivery status. We want to assign stuff delivery status. Okay, now let's take, for example, I want to use this to assign delivery status. kind of. So what do I do is, if I type if here. Now I'm going to say if this equals, open up this and type delivered. Don't bother, is not case sensitive. If this equals this, comma, then give me 1. If it's delivered, return 1. If it's delivered, return 1. So I put this, comma, and then I put another if again. That's what we call it, that's why we refer to it as nested if. If this equals, let me, okay, no. If this equals, let's say, pending, comma, then open quotation, return 0, comma, put another if. That's why we call it nested if. If this equals return, or less. So since from, let me access this data sets, we have 3 stuff here, pending, return, and delivered. So if this equals delivered, return 1. If this equals pending, return 0. Then if not, if it's not any of this, return -1. I've been making mistake here. Remember I said if is number, there is no need to put it in quotation. Okay, now we open 2 brackets, we are going to close it the same, 1, 2. So that is the way if function works. If you put 2 ifs, you press 2 brackets. If your condition gets up to 3 brackets, if your condition gets up to 4, 5, 6, as the case may be, you put 6 brackets, 7 brackets, as the case may be. So with that, we hit enter. Now what we have here is 1. What we have here is 1 because is delivered. Now here we are going to double click to see the rest. Now when it's pending, it gives me 0. When it's returned, it gives me -1. So the delivery status, we can have this as that. Alright, now that is on the aspect of nested if, which you can also use in grading, in classification, in grading as well. So take note of that we can use in grading, in classifications, and what have you. All right, the next is, we did that yesterday on Monday. Please let me know if I'm on, if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. Let me know if I'm audible enough. I want to show us something very vital at the moment. Okay, now like you notice, I want to be seeing this. I want to be seeing this. I want to be seeing the function so that I know the functions I have handled. Now, but if I'm moving forward like this, that is no longer there. Now, I want to see it. what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what is called free spin. This is one trick this night. I'm going to show us this trick. We call it free spins. This is one of the trick this night. Now, to do that is simple. To do that is simple. I can come here and click the A, or come here and click on this. I will click on B. Go to view. I will go to view. Under view, you will see free space. You will see this free space. I select it and then click on freeze. It will look as if nothing happens. But if you look closely here, you will see there is a line that is being drawn from top to bottom. Now what that means is that this place is freezed. So if I go forward, if I move forward, you see it's no longer moving, it's there. So I can be moving forward and be doing what I'm doing and still be seeing stuff that I'm working with. That way I can I can know that yes, I have done this one, I have not done this one. All right. Now, having taken that, let's proceed. That comes handy. You can try that whenever you are free to look it up. Now, here we are going to be looking at Xlookup. Now, let's say that in our data set, our manager said we should find the unit price. Let's say our manager said we should find the unit price of keyboard. Let's say our manager say find the unit price of keyboard. Now here now, okay, let me unfreeze this. I think I will have to freeze from here. Let me freeze from here. Okay, this is okay by me, so that I can move like this and still have stuff I'm working for. Now let's say our manager says he wants to know the unit price. We want to know the unit price of, let's say, mouse, for example. Let's say I want to know the unit price of mouse. Now, what we are going to use for this is what is called Xlookup. It's an advanced function. And like I said earlier, if you are using Office 2019, you will definitely not see Xlookup. That means you are going to be using VLOOKUP or index match. If time permits us, we might look at index match. If not, Xlookup covers both VLOOKUP and index match. Once you have Office 2021, there is no need of looking at VLOOKUP or index match, because Xlookup can take care of that and even more. Okay, now what we are going to look at here is we want to know the unit price of mouse. Our manager wants to know the unit price of mouse. Let's say in this place, the manager wants to know the unit price of mouse. Okay. Now, in this aspect, if you look at this data set, you will see that we have mouse here, northern region. The unit price is this, and then another mouse here, we see a different unit price. Now, what do? Now, the unit price here is, we are going to look at we are going to get the total. we are going to get the total. Now, you can use Sumifs, you can use aggregate function. We will be getting to that, but because we have used the Sumif, I'm going to use Sumif for that. So Sumif here will be if sum all the mouse, the total under unit price of all the mouse, and then we now look it up and know which one is it. Let's say the mouse or stuff like that, and then it gets us certain stuff. Will that work? I think so. Okay, let's say our manager wants to know, the region. I think that is that the region, our manager wants to know the region with the highest price, total price. The region with the highest total price. Here we have the total price, here we have the region. Now our manager wants to know the region with the highest total price. What that means is this, if we sum up all the total price for Eastern region, Northern region, Western region, Southern region, any of them that has the highest total price, that is what it will return for us. Our manager is asking us which region has the highest total price. So what we are going to do here is we are going to say equals to Xlookup Xlookup, and then we have maths. Under this, we come to the total price, the backspace. Now, what we are having here is, what we want to do first is this. Follow me closely. Now we have this, we want to search which of them is highest, our lookup value. Our lookup value is, we look at this place, or we look at it, the total, all the stuff there, we check the maximum. It will return the maximum value. That becomes our lookup value. Then it's asking us for lookup array. Where are we going to see the maximum value? Is still in the total price. We click on it, Control Shift down, Control backspace, and then comma. Then where do we look at return array? We want to return the region. We want to return the region. We select that, Control backspace. So what we are saying here is this. We are using Xlookup to look for, total price. We are using Xlookup to look for total price. Now, once we get the total price, that is the highest. Here, if you check, you might use your eye to discover the one that has the highest value. Now, that's the lookup value. Now, search this highest value inside this range. When you get it, return this value for me. Any value that matches the highest, that's what Xlookup is. We click enter. Okay, it says we need to close the bracket. Didn't close it here. Yeah, of course. Do you want to accept this correction? Yes. And then we have it. That's the Eastern region. In other words, under this place, based on this, we have, based on what we have here, the East is where we can have to total price. The highest total price, if we can search for it, this is 2008. Is there any other 2008 here? Okay, this is 2009. As you can see here, is East. That is valid. That is valid. That's Xlookup. That's for the Xlookup. Then filter. We are going over to filter function. The next we will be looking at this night is the filter function. Very important function. Filter function. Very important function. Let's say we want to show the orders. We want to show orders that are from the southern region. We want to show orders that are from the southern region. Very filter function is a very important function in data analysis in Excel. Now let's take, for example, your manager, you have this set of data and your manager wants to see the orders only from the south. The orders he wants to see are orders from the south. So how do you do that? Filter function can help you to do that. So you go straight and say equals to filter. Tonight I'm going to be going straight to deal with the basic filter functions, and later I'm going to be making an extensive video on more filter features, more advanced use of these filter functions. But this night I'm going to be showing us how we can use it expressly in our data analysis, and later I'm going to make a special video on filter function because it's a very important function in Microsoft Excel as regards to data analysis. All right, now we have this filter. Under this filter function, we are going to select everything here. It's asking us array. That's one thing about Excel is it will be giving you the tips. First is the array. So here, this is the array. This is the array. Control backspace takes us back. This is the table array. Then comma. The next is include. Now here we are looking at the southern region. We can come here, click on this, Control Shift down, Control backspace. We have this here, and then we say equals to. We declare south. We declare south. Now here is if empty. That's if there is anything empty, what will you want? But here we don't have empty value, so there is no need for that. We hit enter. Now automatically, as we can see here, it filters orders that are from south only. This filters orders from the southern region only. Orders from the south region. That's what we have. That's one of the things about the filter function. The manager wants to see only orders from that place. How will you do it? Are you going to be doing it one after the other? Now another way you can do that is also you can come to this. Why I need to use filter function is because there are different ways we can use our filter function and then use it in a more advanced function which I will be making a video on that. I don't want this nice section to be long. I'm already only in 5. In function 5 we have already gone the time we're even almost 1 hour for the session this night. Another way you can use this is to come here and click on the filter button and then come here and filter out. But why this one is very, very good is that it separates it. Your original data is there. This gives you a sub data, a subset of your data in a separate aspect. That's one of the things that makes filter function very, very good. So in that regard, that I strongly recommend you use filter instead of using this aspect. Come in here and removing this and selecting only South and say okay. That will give you this. No, we will not. This is not okay by me. I like it in this format, giving it to me on a separate, making it separate for me. All right. Now that is the filter function. Let me Control Z. That's the filter function. All right. We are making progress. I trust God that we will be able to finish more functions tonight. Now, the next function that I'm going to be looking at is Iferror function. We use it to take care of errors. Now, let's take for example, I have let's take for example, I say equals to okay, let's take for example, I want to look, I wrote this, let's say, now let's take for example, I said equals Xlookup. Let's say I say equals Xlookup. Now, under the lookup, what am I looking for? Let's say I'm looking for scanner. Let's say I'm looking for scanner in this data set. That's my lookup value. I put comma. What's my lookup array? I'm looking for it under these products. Control shift, down arrow, control backspace, and then put comma. I'm looking for it here. Then now if I find it there, what do I want to return? Let's say here I want to return the category. The category it falls under. That's my return array. Then comma. Now, the next thing here is this. I can now close my Xlookup. It's saying if not found, match this. I close my Xlookup. And hit enter. Now you see this. My Xlookup is showing me an error. Why? Is because there is no scanner here. It looks for scanner, you didn't see. So returning it will be error. So if I want to fix this, I don't want it to, if I'm looking for scanner here and it's not found, I don't want this error message to pop up. What do? I will just come here under this, in front of Xlookup and put if error. So if this is error, let's come here. If it's error, then return something of this nature, let's say not found. Return not found, and then close the bracket. So if you find it, if you look for it and you didn't see it, instead of returning an error value for me, return not found. I hit enter. Okay. I failed to separate this. I failed to separate it with comma. I hit enter. So this, we need to be very careful. What causes it is that I didn't put comma here. Comma is what separates that this is the lookup value and this is what we return. So here I hit enter. So with the if error function, I have been able to rectify that error value. Instead of bringing an error value to me, instead of bringing the error value to me, it will bring not found. So that is the aspect of if error. That is the aspect of if error. And now we proceed. We move fast. We already 1 hour gone. The next is this function. Those of us as data analysts, you will be working with months, you will be working with dates. We will be working with dates. Be working with dates a lot. I want to delete this. Okay. Now let's take for example, you will be working with dates. We will be looking at this function, Eomonth. Now let's take for example, we want to get the end month for the order date. This is our order date. We want to get the end month for order dates. Now the function that will give us that is this Eomonth. We want to get the end date for the order date, the end month for the order date. So what do? We can say equals EO, this comes out. Please, I need to emphasize this function, you mostly see it in Office 2021 and above, 2024 Office 365. If you are using Office 2019, you most likely will not get to see these functions. So if you are using 2019, 2013, 16, I will encourage that you how will I put it now? I will encourage that you upgrade. Okay, now here is telling us the start dates. So if this is the order, here I will select this and put comma. Now what months? Let's put 0 here and hit enter. Now what is giving us here is in form of number. Why? Simply because we haven't fed this place. I think we are back. Okay, now if I double click, you will see the orders. Now this one ends at the first, the same as this. Am I audible enough? Can you let me know if I'm audible enough? Let me know if I'm audible enough. If you are with me, kindly let me know if I'm audible enough. Please let me know if I'm audible enough. Let me know. Let me see in the chat. Let me see in the chat if I'm audible enough. If you are with me, kindly let me know if I'm audible enough. We want to rush. I want to rush. That is the one that's on the Eomonth. That's on the Eomonth. It shows you, it gives us the end, which is 28. So that way we get to the end of the month. All right. The next, let's proceed. Let's proceed with speed of light. Let's proceed with speed of light. The other one is what we refer to as, also the next function is Edate. Edate. Now for the Edate is to use to get the order dates 2 months later. All right. All right. You are audible. You are audible. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. The Edate, we are going to be making use of it is to get that date 2 months later. You want to see your order dates 2 months later. 2 months later. We can use the Edate function. We say equals Edate. This function comes out. This function comes out the start date, then comma, and we put here 2. We put 2 here and close our bracket and hit enter. The same thing happens, remember, because here we haven't formatted it as date. So let's go over to this place and make it, give it a data type of short date. It shows us this. Now 2 months later, this is, we are in April. Our 2 months later of April is May, June. Look at it, 2 months later, May, June. So you can use this to generate another order dates if you are generating data. If you are generating data, you can use that to generate order dates. All right, that is on the Edate. If you look at each of them, it gives you 2 months interval. This is one of the functions of Edate. I'm trying to run with speed of light to get to some functions this night, to get to some functions that we need. Okay, the next one is unique function. Now the unique function is an aspect where if you are also working with Office 2019, you will not see it. 2019 down, 2016, 13, you are not going to see it. If you are an analyst, you are working with Excel, you are working in an office, I recommend, I encourage you to upgrade. Take your computer engineer, any person, 30%, and install Office 2024, Office 2021, or of Office 365 for me. That way you are going to be getting other functions that helps our work to be very easy. Our work to be very easy. So that's very important. Okay, now unique function returns a distinct value. For example, in this product, we want to know all the products that we have. To know the products we have, we use the unique function. So we say equals to unique. This function comes up here. We double click it, unique, come to this, Control Shift down to select the entire range, Control Backspace to give us that's all. That's what we want. We hit and insert a unique value. So the products we have in our store is keyboard, mouse, monitor, laptop, and tablet. That's the product we have. even though they appear multiple times. That's what we have. Now another function of unique is also return this true. This is telling us exactly once. In other words, it is telling us exactly once. In other words, if it appears 2 times here, don't show it. But if it appears only once, return it. It's a unique value. At the same time, it appears just once in this range. That's what this function, this aspect now is talking about. That's what this aspect is talking about. So I can now hit enter. Let me know if I'm audible enough. Let me know if I'm audible enough. We are moving to the 10th function. The 10th function we are looking at is sequence. We are looking at the sequence function. Sequence. Now, what do we use sequence to achieve? We use sequence function to create a range of values, a range of numbers, as the case may be, as we want, as the case may be. Okay, now let's take, for example, I want to assign numbers. I want to assign numbers to this other ID. Here I put it, let's say, for example, serial number. And this serial number, I want it to be 1 to 10, 1 to 30 or whatever, 1 to 50 or whatever. So I can use sequence instead of typing 1 and come here and put 2 and then highlight this and then drag down. That way it will definitely take me time. So what do I need to do? I can say equals sequence, type SE. This function will show. Also, you need to know that. Also, you need to know that this function is how will I put it? Office 2021. So I can, how many rows do I want? If I want 30 rows, I type it there, 30, and hit enter. That's all. It generates speed. Okay, now it generates 1 to 30 for us. That is it, 1 to 30. Now, but let's take for example, I want it in the aspect of 2468 or in the aspect of 35 something and stuff like that. I can come back here. Let me say equals to sequence. How many rows I want? I want 30. Now what that is, how many number of columns I'm going, how many columns, how many rows, depending. I'm going to skip that. I don't want any column. I put another comma. What number do you want me to start? I want to start 2. And what is the step? I want it to be 2 as well. In other words, 2, 4, 6, 8, stuff like that. So with this, let's close the bracket and hit enter. In that way, you see it 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, you see down to 60. So this is a way you can generate any sequence of number. Now another stuff about sequence is this. We can say sequence, how many rows. Let's say we want 10 rows. How many columns? Let's say we want 4 columns. Then start with what? We want to start with 2. What step? We want it also 2 as well. How many? Step means what we are seeing here. Step means what's the interval. We can put it that way. What interval? do we want, what interval are we looking at. So that way, hit enter, it generates a serial number. It generates a serial number. This will be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. This you see, as you see it is going in that manner. So it generates a range of value based on that step: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, kind of, as and so on and so forth. All right, that is the function sequence. The next function we are going to be looking at is the function called large. Large, like maximum, large, we use it to, okay, large function, we use it to return now. Let's take, for example, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, and we want to know the top items. We want to get to know the top 5 items, or the top 5 products in terms of price. The top 5 products in terms of price. So if we look at this, max function can only give us the maximum value. When we are now looking at the second highest value, the third highest value, the fourth, the fifth, then we can use large function. Now what that is that we can say equals to large, double click. Now what array are we looking at? We are looking for, okay, let's use the unit price. Let's use the unit price. Select it, Control Shift down. That's Control Backspace. That's the array, comma. The K is the number you are looking for. If you are looking for 1, which is the highest value, you put 1. If you are looking for 2, which is the highest value, you put 2. So here I'm going to click on this, which is 1, and then hit enter. It returns the highest unit price, which is 499. Which is 499. That is it there, the unit price, which is 499. Now if we drop it down, you see it. This is the second. This is the second. Let's say ignore. Yeah. Okay, that's by the way. Now, if you look at this, you notice that this is the second highest, this is the third, this is the fourth, and this is the fifth. In the same vein, if we change this formula to small, so the next function we'll be looking at is the small function. Now here, if you are looking at the list, 5 least performing items, 5 least performing items, you use the small. So the same way in large we can put small. So here is the array and here is the number, and we hit enter. That shows 78. If we drag down, it shows this, this, and up. As of course you know, 1 will be the least. 1 will be the least as we in that regard. So with this, we have been able to look at the small function we want, and now we are moving over to function we call the string functions. In the string functions, we will be looking at some functions like the trim function. We will be looking at concat functions. We will be looking at okay, now let's take under the function, let's take proper function is under the test function. Let's take that one, proper. Now here from the data set we have all these in a proper, is already in proper format. Is already in proper format. Now let's, okay, now we have medium. We have medium which is in capital letter. And let's take for example we want it to be in a proper format. So what we do is we use the proper function. We say equals proper. Double click on it, select this, and hit enter. It turns it to proper, and then we can double click to change the other ones. That's the proper function. That is the proper function. Now, the next function we can look at in the same vein, that way is upper. That can also, this, we can do that for upper, we can do that for lower as well. That works for it. Here I can come here and then remove this and say lower. This comes out and then I hit enter. It changes it to small case. It changes it to small case, which if you double click here, we want to join region with other ID. And let me know if you can hear me. Stephen, you are asking a question. I can't really on which criteria are you asking of? On which particular stuff? Let me know. This is fluctuating a bit. The network is fluctuating a bit. Stephen, based on your question, let me know what you mean. Based on your question, what criteria are you referring to? What criteria are you referring to? What criteria? Just drop it in the chat box. If you are still with me here, let me know the criteria you are referring to. Now, after this night section, tomorrow we will be going further in more advanced aspect of Excel, where we will be looking at data forecasting, data validation. I suppose that is what is in our course outline. In our outline, the data validation and data forecasting, very, very powerful features as well in Microsoft Excel as regards to data analysis, to predict data, to predict data prediction, or predicting data, predictive analysis using data forecasting. We will be looking at that tomorrow. We will be looking at that tomorrow as well. All right. Now, let me know, Stephen, let me know what you mean. Can the criteria be used interchangeably? Let me know. Let me know what criteria are you referring to? What criteria are you referring to? All right. Now, we are going to look at textjoin. The textjoin, we use it normally to join. We use textjoin normally to join. We use it to join two columns, or we use it to join two columns, two columns together. Now what that is if I say equals test, you look at this test join. Now here, one of the things that makes this okay is because it will ask us the delimiter. What delimiter do we want? Delimiter can be space, delimiter can can be hyphen, it can be comma, it can be semicolon, it can be colon. Those are delimiters. But here I want to join this using hyphen, for example, so I can put it under quotation and put this and then put this, comma. Now it say ignore if empty. Of course it's not empty. I will leave it. What is my test one? I want to join region with unit price. That is what I want to do. So I put here region and then put comma the test 2 unit price. Now if I want to add it to quantity as well, of course it will still go, let's say, and then join it with quantity as well. So I have 3 tests that I'm joining together, and then I hit enter. Now you can see it joins them together in this format. It joins them together in this format. It can now be this, this, and this. Now why this is very easy is because if we are using concat, we are going to be declaring this. Here we just put the delimiter once. Or if we are using concat, we are going to be putting the delimiter, the hash. When we join this we put the, okay, let me show us what I mean. There is another function which is called the concat function. The concat. Now imagine I'm doing a lot of joining. This is what I will be doing. This is what I will be doing. I will put this and put this again. If I'm joining another thing, I'm going to put that dash again if I need it, and then hit enter. Now I have the same stuff as I have here, but this one is just once I have to type this and then select the things I want. So I prefer test join to concat. Concat can also do that. Concat can do that, which is also one of the functions we can say we have learned this night, is used to join 2 or 3 columns together. Okay, concat function. Now but test function is, I prefer test function to concat function. All right, the next function we are going to be looking at is, especially as HRs, as data analysts, project managers, you need to work your project schedule. You want to put up your project plan or work schedule plan. There are certain, you need to know the number of working days in a week and stuff like that. You are running from the table, from your schedule, number of working days in a week based on the plans you have. So we can make use of this function called network days. This function called Networkdays.intl. That's the name of the function. And of course, you need to have Office 2021 above to be able to use this. Now, let's say you want to know the work days, the number of work days between, let's say we want to, from this data set now, let's say from this data set, we want to know the number of work days between these other dates to today. This is 2023. You want to know the number of work days. Let's say the last time the person reported to work is so day, or the last time this customer patronized you is this day. Fourth, using head knowledge. It's not that you are counting it. He is supposed to resume last 2 weeks, but he didn't resume he's supposed to resume last 3 weeks. A bit of network glitch this night. We will definitely overcome this challenge. Please let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me. If you are with me here, let me know if you can hear me. Kindly let me know. We are going on a journey tonight. Like I was saying, you are a manager, a HR, a project manager, an admin, you are working on somebody else, a staff supposed to resume. Last 3 weeks, you didn't see the person. Last week, 2 weeks, last week, this week, the person resumes. This week, the person resumes. And you want to know the number of working days. You want to know the number of working days the person have missed. The number of working days the person have missed. You want to know the number of working days the person have missed from the first time he or she reported to work. That's the one we are going to use. So what that is asking us the start date. The start date is this day. Then, comma. Now, the end date. The end date, remember we are saying the end date is today. Asking us the start date, which is this date here. The other date, which is 25th of April. We want to know the number of working days from this 25th of April 2023 to this day being 9th, I think. Today is 9th of May, being 9th of May 2025. So the end date is today. Instead of to use is another date function called today. It's a date function. It's a function. That's why you have, I have talked about nested functions. A function inside a function. So with this, you close the bracket. That's the end date. Comma. What aspect of weekend, which kind of weekend do you observe? If your company observes Saturday and Sunday as weekend, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, depending. If it's Sunday alone, that means you work on Saturdays. Then, if it's Friday and Saturday, depending. But here we are going to be making use of Saturday and Sunday. So I will double click here. And then I close. That will show me the number of working days from that till now. So it's telling me that from April 2025 to 9th of May April 2025, we have 534 working days. So with this, you can easily calculate number of days a staff missed from so time to so time. If it comes across weekends, you put that, and if your company observe weekend of Saturday and Sunday, you select one. If it's not Saturday and Sunday, if your company observe only days, only Sunday as weekend, that means the company works on Saturdays, you select Sunday. Now let's assume the company works on, and then I hit enter. You see the number of working days each. So that's this function we refer to as Networkdays International. That function comes handy. Okay. Now the next is we are going to be talking about is the aggregate function. Very, very important function. Aggregate function. Now, why is aggregate function very important? Aggregate function is very important because with aggregate function we can ignore hidden rows to do. Aggregate function helps us to do certain stuff. For example, let's say for example we want to sum up. We want to sum up. Let's say we have just let me separate this and this. Now let's say I need to, so I separate this as well. Now let's take for example, money. Control T, format as table. Now, that is one thing about the sequence function. It doesn't work with table. So what do you do? That is another thing I'm going to show this that. Let me control Z. This is one thing about the sequence function. I really want to finish this. I don't want to go over this again tomorrow. Why is network fluctuating? I don't want to go over these functions again tomorrow. Now, what I'm talking about before we add the network fluctuate is if I do this, format this as table and say okay, you will notice this number will no longer be here. You will see it won't spill because it's a table. Now one of the things you do, let's undo, Control Z, is having done this as a function, Excel is seeing it as a function, not as value. Excel is seeing it as a function, not as value. What do? You press Control, hold Shift, down arrow, you copy it, Control C. Now once you copy it, Control C, instead of you to paste it, Control C, you come here, click, go to home. No, not home, rather. Not home. This the home I'm talking about. Go to home, then come to paste. Under paste, you will see this values. You are pasting it as values. You click on it, paste. Now it becomes as values. Let's press escape button. Now you see, if I click here, Excel will now be seeing it as 2. So therefore I can format my table and it will be 2, 4, 8 stuff there. Alright. Now let's take for example, we want to, from our data set, we want to calculate only for the eastern region. Let's come here. Let me just filter this out and then I have this. This is for the eastern region. Now I want to get the total price for the eastern region. Watch out here. Watch. If I use sum, what happens? If I use sum and say double click and then I drag down, you will notice something and hit enter. Now the total we are having here is not the same as this. What Excel did is that the sum added even both the hidden values. That's why you are seeing this green here. Even it added both the one of south, the one of west, the one of north. That's why we are getting 40,611. Now, if you add these things, it will give you 40,000 from what you are seeing here. Definitely it will. Now, this is where aggregate function comes into play. This is where aggregate function comes to play. Now, let's use aggregate now. We say equals to, we come to aggregate. Double click. What do we want? We want to sum. You select it. We are making use of this first one. So that's what we are making use of. What do you want? Sum. we say ignore hidden rows, errors, nested subtotal, and whatever. Ignore hidden rows, nested total. So let's take, for example, we select the third function, the third option, hidden rows. That's the key stuff here. Or for now, there is no error in this. There is no error here. Let's select this to make it easy. Let's just rows. That's the only thing that we have. That's the only challenge we have here. So we are selecting the hidden rows. We double click on it. Then we put comma. What array are we looking at? That is this range. So here the k value, we don't need it. The k value or large, small, and maybe deviations and the likes. Okay, now we hit enter. Now you notice now that this value is different from this. Now what Excel does using aggregate is that it calculates only these ones. And if you calculate it using one after the other pattern, you will get the same answer. Now let's look at it. Imagine if we are doing stuff like this. Imagine if we say this plus this plus this plus this plus this is going to take us time. It's going to take us time, as you can see. But I want us to see that the aggregate function helps us to get the same value. We are taking them 1, 1. That's what we would have done if aggregate function. So you see, and you hit enter. You see you are having the same results. You see you are having the same result as regards to when we did the aggregate. So the aggregate function ignores the hidden rules as we ignore them here. So here now we are having the total, we are having total price as regards to east. We are having something like this, total price in brackets east. That's what the value we are having. Whereas what we have here is total. What we have here is total price alone. So that is one of the things that aggregate function helps us to do. Now, let's take, for example, we want to find out the highest value, or the highest value in this place, the highest value, the highest price, under total price, the highest. We want to get the highest here. We can also do that by using the aggregate function. Now, what are we looking for here? We are looking for max, which is 4, comma. What option are we looking for? Ignore hidden rows as well, comma. Then what array? This array. Then you close your bracket, hit enter. It gives us the highest value, which is 2009. Now, if peradventure we didn't do that, let's say we do this normal maths without the aggregate function, and we drag down, we hit enter. This is 2009, which I think is the highest overall. Is the highest overall. Let me use the mean. And drag down. Now you